Alright, welcome back. Welcome back to Beagle Eye Visions. I don't have the soundboard. I still don't have the banner. I still need to get some thumbtacks so I can hang up these banners and add more. I don't have an awesome, super sweet intro song, but Happy New Year's! I hope you guys are feeling okay. At the time that this premieres, I probably will not be feeling all that okay, but I will be doing my best. Welcome back to Beagle Eye Visions. I'm going to do my best to make this short and sweet, which never works out. And I got the Twisteds again because it's a new year. New year? Wow. What an interesting 2025. Very interesting. But anyways, let's get into the notes. This month's book is on the Trivium. Let me bring it up here so you guys get a good look at it. Because it's super shiny, it looks really good. Ooh, yeah, all the colors. It's like a H.P. Lovecraft book. The Trivium. The classical liberal arts on grammar, logic, and rhetoric. And I'm going to read the back of it. If you ever wanted to know more about the power of P, the hypnotic rhythm of anapestic tetrameter, or how to change the mood of a verb, then look no further. If you ever needed to catch a red herring, wield a zeugma, deepen your pathos, or improve your character, then this book is for you. The Trivium consists of the three liberal arts pertaining to language, grammar, logic, and rhetoric. These ancient disciplines have been studied for over 2,000 years as a way of refining a speaker and their speech, with extra sections on euphonics, poetic meter and form, ethics, and proverbs. This unique compendium contains a wealth of rare information, and I second that. That is very true. It does indeed contain a wealth of information. It's such a big book. I don't even need a book stand. Look at that. Where's my soundboard? Ha 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 ha. Add the cheesy laugh track that some people don't like. Hopefully this year will be a little bit better. I mean, 2025, it really wasn't that bad. When I think of the devastation and the suffering, the continuous suffering of the human race that keeps going on because of people's endless belief in authority. But we're not going to get started on that. We're gonna stick to the Trivium today. We're not going to get any vitriol today, right? No. So, judging from the size of this book, this thing is over 400 pages, right? Let me double check. Let me make sure my information is accurate. Yeah, it's over 400 pages. If you include the appendix. Over 400 pages. I thought it was going to read like a textbook, really sludgy and putting you to sleep no matter where you're sitting in the house or how uncomfortable you are. I was totally wrong. This book is actually compelling. It's a compelling page turner for sure. It reads very smooth, like having your favorite cappuccino on a winter morning. There is even a wide variety of poetry and artwork to add to the entertainment factor. I freaking love this book. The fact that I have owned this book for over a year and I haven't read a single page of it until I decided to do this book review is an absolute shame. I am ashamed. This book is so good. I could have been using this in every single one of my videos. That's how good it is. It is so freaking good. A wide variety of poetry and artwork. Very entertaining. I freaking love this book. I have both dogs with me. I'm dog sitting Pickle. Pickle is out with what's a nickname for Pickle's boyfriend? Well, until I come up with one. Pickle's out with Pickle boyfriend, and they're out having fun. Pickle's boyfriend, actually, you guys gotta check this out. This is totally random tangent, but I swear I'm gonna get back to the notes, but this is hilarious. Pickle's boyfriend got Picklehead an amazing Christmas gift. Look at the size of this thing. I mean, look at the size. Just look at that. Make this the thumbnail, YouTube. Make this the thumbnail right here. Get my mug holding this huge jar of pickles. Oh man, but anyways, that's an awesome gift. I'm gonna have to ask her for one of those. But so grammar, logic, rhetoric. Back to the freaking notes. I'm a little bit tired. I was still reading this book last night. I don't know if it's a combination of playing too much Sea of Thieves or a combination of me slacking. Either way, this book has a lot of pages, and I almost didn't even get to, like, my bookmark is still in here. I still have like less than how many pages? Where did I was on page 2, like 13 at 214. So there's like 30-40 pages left that I'm going to finish this book before I start the next book review. But I think the next book review is going to be really small, like The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. More people. It's a really small book. I mean, I think that book, The Prophet, is less than 100 pages. And again, people are still not reading these books. I don't understand. Like, it's less than 100 pages. You could, like, if you took a book with you every time you went to take a number 2, okay? Every time you went to digest your food on the toilet, if you could read like 5 pages every time you sit down to number 2. Just always have a book on you. Ladies, especially if you have purses, you know, you go to a fast food restaurant, or you got a hot date, take that book with you. If you have to take a crap, if you have to poop while you're on the date, take your purse, take your freaking book, and read the freaking... Stop staring at your phone while you're dropping a deuce, okay? Read a freaking book. There are so many opportunities, so many different ways to read books. There's audio books. There are, you know, download books on your phone if you're like too embarrassed to take your purse with you to the bathroom, or you're too embarrassed to take a book with you for some reason. Everybody takes their phone to the bathroom with them. Download a freaking book on your freaking phone. Download the PDF. You can find archive.org. I was going to give them a shout out. Archive.org is actually down right now at the time of this recording, which is December 31st, 2025. Archive is down. But even if Archive is not down, you have the Kindle app. The Kindle app, you can download PDFs straight to your phone. There's so many ways. You have no excuses. Why are people not reading books? But anyways, the Trivium: grammar, logic, rhetoric. Grammar is knowledge, logic is understanding, and the rhetoric is the action. Putting your knowledge and understanding into action. That's what the rhetoric part is. The artwork gets the mind curious. The foreword of the book gets the mind ready for serious practical knowledge that we can use in our everyday life. The Trivium, this book is separated into 6 books by 8 different authors. There's book 1, euphonics, number 2, grammar, number 3, poetic meter and form, number 4, logic, number 5, rhetoric, number 6, ethics. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Like the back of the book says, it is a wealth of rare information. And this information should not be rare. Information should be taught in schools. It should be talked about on a daily basis. Like I said, on almost every single book review this year, talk about this at Thanksgiving, New Year's, Christmas, 4th of July. Ask these questions. Talk about grammar. Talk about logic. Talk about rhetoric, and like stop talking about sports. And I'm an anarchist. I don't like telling people what to do, but talking about sports and talking about who's got the better arm, or if O.J. Simpson actually got away with murder or not, who cares? Actually, if he did get away with murder, that's kind of messed up. People should care about that. If a guy got away with murder, people should totally care about that. But I mean, as far as sports goes, who has the better arm? Who's gonna go to the Super Bowl to drop the biggest deuce or whatever? Who wears the tightest tights? Who freaking cares? We need to be talking about logic, and we need to be talking about rhetoric. This needs to be common understanding. This needs to be common knowledge. What's that freaking... Yeah, common knowledge is so rare nowadays, and it's getting more and more increasingly rare. People need to be talking about these books. And shout out to Conrad Ragose, because he is still, he's talking about good subjects. Conrad Ragose, yo, shout out to you. Us guys, us millennials that are, in the same age range, we gotta stick together, right? Like us guys our age need to step up to the freaking plate and start talking about these topics and start teaching on these topics. Instead of talking about sports, talking about Grand Theft Auto 6. When are we going to get Grand Theft Auto 6? Who cares? We have this information right now, so stop talking and debating about, oh, GTA 6, or you're going to be able to make currency on GTA 6 and turn it into real. Who freaking cares? Who cares about currency? We need to be talking about education. Education. Seriously. I've been slacking on my notes for these books. Well, one, because this book is huge, and there's so many topics I didn't get to talk about, but I've been slacking on these notes because people are just not reading books. I'm borrowing books out to people, and the books that I'm borrowing out, I borrowed V for Vendetta, right? The November book review. Hold on. I'm talking too much. V for Vendetta, right? The November book review that I did. The person watched the November book review, right? She was like, Henry, that was an amazing book review. I want to read the book. I'm like, okay, here's the book. Come over to my house. I'll drop it off as soon as we hung out. I drop it to. She didn't even have to come over to my house. Well, we both don't have vehicles. I gave her the book. It is now freaking January. Last time I talked to her, which was about a week ago. Hey, how far did you get in the book? Didn't even get a chapter into the book. 3 months later, not one freaking chapter into the book, but yet she's reading the Bible every night. I don't freaking understand. Like, read other books. It's not that difficult. Like, this is all it takes. Look how much energy this action takes. Man, oh, my back hurts from opening this book. Like, oh my God, that was so much energy exerted out of my bones to do that action. And then to get farther into the book, you flip some more pages. Oh my gosh, it's like I gotta lift weights. These pages are just so heavy to turn. I can't freaking how am I ever gonna get through a book? These pages are way too heavy. I don't understand, and this person doesn't do book reviews. This person doesn't even have a YouTube channel, doesn't even have a Twitch, doesn't live stream on a daily basis. What is the excuse? There is no excuse. Like, you don't have to read, you don't have to write notes, you're not doing a book review. All you're doing is just reading a book. You don't, just pure laziness. Anyway, stick to the notes, Henry. Stick to the notes, Henry. What is euphony? E-U-P-H-O-N-Y. Agreeable sound, especially in phonetic quality of words. This pen is broken. Euphonics. Denoting or relating to euphony. Euphony. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Pleasing to the ear. That's what euphonics means. The first chapter warms you up perfectly for what you're about to learn through all of these pages. Going through each letter of the alphabet and telling brief phonetics. Once covering the alphabet A to Z. Once the book covers the whole alphabet A to Z, that's when we get to book 2, which book 2 is titled Grammar. Okay, the Structure of Language by Rachel Halley. Amazing section of the. Again, this book is so entertaining. It's so powerful. You're gonna be entertained. You're gonna be thoroughly entertained. You're gonna be getting all these nuggets of wisdom. And of course, we're only human beings. You're not a robot. You're not going to read this whole book and memorize every single page. You're not going to memorize every single definition, every single new word that you learned, and that's okay. That's part of being a human. You might read through the book once and only remember one word. That is okay. You might not remember any words, but you might remember how to structure a poem, and that's okay. It's just all about, that's what being a human is all about. The Structure of Language by Rachel Halley. Absolutely enjoy the way this author writes. I really need to look up more books, more of her work. Rachel Halley. Shout out to Rachel Halley. Here is an example of her writing from the grammar part of the Trivium. Language is humanity's primary vehicle for thought and communication, both internal and external. Indeed, the ability to learn the complex systems of symbols and rules which underlie syntax and grammar is arguably the most distinctive feature of the human race. Grammar enables us to inform, edify, and entertain. It allows us to reason, debate, and argue. It helps us study, build, and use complex things from recipes to spaceships. From recipes to spaceships, and that was off of page 57. And I just really loved it. I love when a teacher breaks it down to super simple. Like I had a job interview the other day, and those stupid job interview questions. Here is a situation. What would you do in this situation? And all I said was, well, you start off simple. If you start off simple, you can tackle literally any problem, right? Just boil it down. Where to begin? Where can you start chiseling, right? It's that easy, right? Just like flipping the pages of a book. How do you start a book? Well, you start from page 1. It's very simple. Like, it's not that complicated. No need to obfuscate anything, right? It's just that simple. Start from the basics, and then we can start tackling. If the problem is the size of a mountain, you know what I mean? You can just start tackling it one grain of sand at a time, one piece at a time, and it didn't cost me a dime, Very simple. You take a big problem, boil it down, make it simple. And the guy was like, wow, that's so... He said, the guy who was interviewing me, he was like, yeah, I love that. Nobody would ever think to say that. He's like, usually people like, well, you gotta ask the cut, he was like, usually people give complicated answers, and it's like, yeah, no need to obfuscate it. That's why I love, teachers like Mark Passio and Braden Martin, and Will Keller, and Chris Jansen. These guys understand. It's like, in order to tackle the problem, which is human slavery, to tackle, who is causing the slavery, which is government, boil it down. And then you start working on yourself on an individual level, and then you go from there. Very simple, right? Love it. The next big section of the book covers a lot. It gets super deep. Verbs, clauses, consonants. This chapter gave me flashbacks to middle school. The author goes very deep into grammar. I'm not here to teach it to you, right? This isn't a formal presentation. I'm here to try and get you to read freaking books. I'm also trying not to cuss. I'm trying really hard not to cuss this book review. People need to read freaking books. Read more books. Following grammar is the study of poetic meter and form. We learn how to create poetry along with various types of poetry. The sheer amount of quotes throughout history, all throughout history, that is in this book is it's such a treat, as Mac DeMarco would say. It's such a treat. You gotta love a good quote. You know what I mean? Growing up, me and my cousins, we endlessly and relentlessly quoted movies. In fact, whenever we get together, which is almost never, we still quote endlessly. When we're playing Fortnite, sometimes we quote. We still get together playing Fortnite, but even then, we still don't. We don't really get together that often. It kind of sucks. But when we do get together and quote movies relentlessly and endlessly, it really does bring me a lot of joy. I just watched The Girl Next Door the other day. My cousin Brandon and Alan showed me that movie. That movie is freaking hilarious. I don't care how old I get. That movie will always like have a sweet spot in my soul, even though it's so raunchy and so debaucherous, but that movie is just, oh my god. What a freaking classic. The soundtrack is flawless. Speaking of soundtracks, I'm going to use an Aesop Rock song here to break down some of the things that I learned from this book. I'm going to use an Aesop Rock song. So shout out to Aesop Rock. He gave us 2 new albums this year, by the way. And that Roadwork song, the Roadwork song that he put out. Roadwork Rapping? Roadwork Trapping? Rapping? I forget what the song's called, but it's a really good song. Shout out to Aesop Rock. The silence is deafening when you have beagles. What you guys doing? Hey! Maybe we'll get a beagle in here. A beagle eye cameo. Alright, so I'll use the Aesop Rock song to break down something I learned. This is from the Aesop Rock song called Daylight. And this, my gosh, this song, what a banger, dude. What a freaking banger. Aesop Rock. Put one up for Shackle Me Not, Clean Logic, Procreation. I did not invent the wheel. I was the crooked spoke adjacent. Let me say that again a little bit slower. Put one up for Shackle Me Not, comma, Clean Logic, Procreation. I did not invent the wheel. I was the crooked spoke adjacent. I freaking love Aesop Rock. Aesop Rock is a legend. A freaking, man, what a legend. Okay, so the reason why I picked that little tidbit is, let me read you a section from a website. The absence of a caesura, and a caesura is like a pause. That's I learned what a caesura is from this book. I never heard that word before in my entire life. Maybe I have, but you know, I'm gonna say I haven't. Really interesting word. I actually kind of want to name a ship on Sea of Thieves. Everything reminds me of Sea of Thieves. Get through the book review. This would mean, oh, okay, the absence of a caesura between Shackle Me Not and Clean Logic Procreation, as well as the accentuation on the word not, allows the listener to interpret this a second way, where Aesop Rock calls his creative process not clean logic procreation. This would mean his creative process is not built only on the prefrontal cortex generated logic, which would be a stringent and boring exercise as writing the Tractatus, but also more instinctive reading of his environment. The two readings create a duality of rational and irrational thinking, both of which are essential in the craft of music, which contain both elements of logic and the sublime. Really good excerpt from Genius.com. Always cite your sources, kids. Yeah, that quote is directly from Genius.com. I did not write that. I just wrote that down. Yeah, I just wrote that down in my notes because, and again, I could do, like, listen. You could do an 8-hour presentation on this book alone. I mean, seriously. This book is so freaking good. That's why, like, I wrote some notes, I wrote down a little bit, but I didn't get too in-depth for this book review, you know. And, like, people, the next book review will be a lot better. I just felt like I have felt myself becoming complacent with these book reviews and doing the notes, because it's just people don't engage in the videos. They don't comment. They don't say, hey, this is a great idea. I love what you said about this, but I disagree here. You know, there's no constructive criticism. There's no comments. There's no commentary. There's no banter. There's no back and forth. There's no healthy debates. You know, it's just like I spend the entire month writing notes, reading the book, you know. I spend the entire month. I spend a lot of time on these book reviews, and that not even just the time I spend on just reading the book alone, right? You know, like I don't like or enjoy writing the notes and transferring it, but this is the only way I can do it with the equipment that I have at my disposal right now. So this is the best way that I can think of how I can transfer. I wish there was an easier way, but just unfortunately there is not. You know, and then I spend all this time and then people don't engage, and it freaking kind of sucks. But anyways, I do want to give a shout out to Matt Bennett, because last night we recorded a new episode on Crazy Life Stories, and he gave me some encouragement, which thank you, Matt Bennett. I freaking love you, Matt Bennett. You are an absolute legend. Thank you for being one of the only people in my life that actually encourages me to keep on going with these book reviews. And I will actually have fun recording the book reviews, but just to, writing the notes and reading the book, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of spiritual currency, and now that I just got a job and I'm going back to work again, it's intimidating, because I'm going to be reading these books, playing video games, streaming constantly, trying to get money through the video game world, trying to get money and get sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, to get more sponsors like Dubby, and you know, it's a grind. The grind never stops. It literally never stops. It's freaking crazy, but it is fun. And rant aside, I do my best to find the light in, you know, doing these book reviews. Shout out to Matt Bennett, and let's get back to the notes. Okay, so now I could spend time breaking down the entire song, and again, you could do a whole presentation on this book alone. You could do a whole presentation on Aesop Rock alone. On his music, the way that he writes is beautiful. Like, the way that he flows, his poetry is amazing. I could spend time breaking down the entire Song of Daylight, counting each line and counting each stanza. Unfortunately, I don't have that kind of time. Aesop Rock is an amazingly fun artist to study. If you're ever bored, read along with the lyrics at genius.com, and who knows, you might learn something. But again, I understand what I just said. You have to read the lyrics. Wow, we're reading, like, people do it every day, but still, people don't read books, and I'm not gonna go on another rant, but but people need to read more. People don't even read the instructions on their mac and cheese boxes anymore, and then they wonder why their stove is burning. But anyways, study Aesop Rock. Even if you're not into and he does real hip-hop, which is higher infinite power, healing our people. That's what real hip-hop stands for. Aesop Rock doesn't write rap. He writes hip-hop, which I've talked about that in another book review. Musical Truth by Mark Devlin. Oh, that might be the next book that I need. I should order a copy of Mark Devlin's fictional book and try to get it signed, you know? That would be sick. Man, I freaking love Mark Devlin's work. Thank you so much, YouTube. Yo, I will give credit. I don't like giving credit to this weird, overly censorship platform, but yo, shout out to YouTube for giving Mark Devlin his YouTube channel back. I want to give a round of applause. YouTube, that's pretty freaking epic. I don't know if you did it to collect more data out of, you know, freedom activists, but you know, kudos to you. Hey, I'll take a drink to that. Of course, I'll drink to anything. Kudos to YouTube for giving Mark Devlin his YouTube channel back. I love that. That's amazing. Progress, right? Oh, I love Twisted Tea. So good. All right. Another fun fact that I learned is through a form of Japanese poetry called tanka and haiku. I already knew about haiku. I've written a lot of really good haikus throughout my life, but tanka is something I never heard of before, or if I have heard of it, I don't remember learning about it in English class in middle school or public education. Getting to the logic section of the book. Wait. That's weird. I must have been rushing through the notes and I didn't... So before we get to the logic section, I'm going to open up and read the section on tanka and haiku on page 169. The classical tanka form, with its emphasis on nature, transience, and, I hope I'm pronouncing that word correctly, and beauty, dominated Japanese poetry, or waka. In the 9th and 10th centuries, it has 5 lines with a total of 31 on syllables in the pattern 5-7-5-7-7. From the 10th to 17th centuries, the form became collaborative, and I absolutely love that part of tanka, the collaborative aspect. As 17th centuries, the form became collaborative as renga. Renga, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, R-E-N-G-A. A renga stanza splits the tanka into 3 opening lines as haku, plus 2 contrasting lines written by someone else, as shown in the verse below. Actually, now that I think about it, I do think Mrs. Byers taught us that in English class over at John Young Middle School. Contrasting lines written by someone else, as shown in the verse below. Right. It's right in parentheses because I don't know why I read that. Taken from a longer Haikai no Renga by Master Sogi and his disciples. So this is tanka Ono no Kamachi 825 to 900. Nice little poem here. We'll add some art. So then we get some beauty in this book review. This is a good one. Though I go to you ceaselessly along dream paths, The sum of those trysts is less than a single glimpse granted in the waking world. And I love that. And the reason it's so though I go to you is 5 syllables, and that's what the pattern 5-7-5-7-7 is. And haiku is I think haiku is 5-7-5, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, and then 5. And here's another poem, Ranga by Inu Sogi. Some snow still remains as haze moves low on the slopes towards evening. And that's by Sogi. This is the collaborative poem, Flowing Water Far Away and a Plum-Scented Village. And that's by Shohaku. So the last 2 lines are Shohaku, and the first 3 lines are Sogi. So I'm going to read that again just so we can get the flow of it. Some snow still remains as haze moves low on the slopes towards evening. Flowing water far away and a plum-scented village. I really enjoy that. That's really cool. That reminds me of like the movie Snowpiercer for some reason. Some snow still remains as haze moves low on the slopes. Yeah, I don't know. That really does remind me of Snowpiercer. By the 13th century, rules stated that a haku must include a kigo, season word appropriate to the season in which the ranga was written, e.g. frog for spring or rain for summer. And also a kiriji, a cutting word, which, if placed at the end of a verse, provides closure or return, but when used in the middle of a verse, briefly cuts the stream of thought. By the time of Matsuo Basho, I know him. He does really beautiful poetry. I've heard that name before. The haku had begun to appear as an independent poem. The 5-7-5 on haiku, okay, so I was right, 5-7-5, 5-7-5 syllable, which keeps a sense of opening without closure. Here's a haiku by Matsuo Basho. By the ancient pond, a frog jumping into it, the sound of water. I love haikus. I love the simplicity of haikus. I've always enjoyed them. Here's another haiku by Yoza Buzon. An evening cloudburst. Sparrows cling desperately to trembling bushes. That's a really good one too. I really like that. That reminds me of Edgar Allan Poe a little bit. It's got some Poe vibes there. All right, so now getting to the logic section of the book. There are literally too many interesting topics to cover. I learned so much from this book, and I'm looking forward. Like I said, I'm gonna reread all of these books that I've previously done. Eventually, I don't know when I'm gonna get to it. I'm just having so much fun doing these new books. I love doing a new book every first of the month. I love that is a selling point of this channel. Not that I'm trying to sell anything. I'm giving it for free. And just one more thing on that I'm never going to charge anybody a subscription. I'm never going to get a Patreon. I'm never going to do that. I'm not a corporate shill. But hey, if you want to support the channel, totally voluntary. Use Cash App Beagle Eye. You'll find the logo. You'll find this. Oh, I don't have the freaking banner up. You'll find Squirt Dog with the green emerald language coming out of his eyeballs. Find it if you want to support the channel. But we're almost done here in the notes. I know I've been ranting for quite a long time now. Getting to the logic section of the book, there are literally too many interesting topics to cover for what is supposed to be a brief book review. So here's a list, although I need to do further research to gain a complete understanding of all of these topics. And that's how you enter your mind to be a good student. You need a healthy amount of skepticism, a healthy amount of gullibility, or I'm probably saying that wrong, but anyways, I'm going to do the list here. Alright, some of the things I learned from just the logic section alone. Linguistic fallacies, non-linguistic fallacies, informal fallacies, fallacies of misdirection, testing an argument, Occam's razor, axioms, paradox such as the ship of Theseus, the truth table, and prepositional logic. The truth table is really interesting. Very difficult for me to understand, which again, that's why I need to do more research to gain a further complete understanding of these topics. But I, again, love this freaking book. So many good things to talk about. So many good freaking topics. And that's literally just scratching the surface. Like I said, that's just in the logic section. I didn't even write any notes on the rhetoric section because I was running out of time. I just started like blowing through the pages. I was like, oh, I gotta record this book review. Gotta go. Gotta get it done so I can move on to the next book. Literally just scratching the surface. So if you like this topic, I started a new series on the YouTube channel. I started a brand new series on the Beagle Vision YouTube channel, and I titled it A Modern Day Chautauqua. A Modern Day Chautauqua. I finally did it. I would like to collaborate with other people, but every person I've told this idea to, they don't stay in touch. People are very flaky, unfortunately. Oh my god. Okay, don't start ranting again, Henry. Don't start ranting. Stay on topic so I can go play Sea of Thieves for New Year's. But anyways, yeah, people are super flaky. I've had a lot of people say like, yeah, modern day Chautauqua, that sounds like a great idea. I would love to get behind that. I love that. Yeah, it's a great idea. And then I go and I'm like, hey, are we ever going to do a modern day Chautauqua? Nothing. Silence, like I'm talking to a friggin' wall. Just dead silence with multiple people. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, hey, this is kind of a modern day Chautauqua, right? With these book reviews. Welcome to Beagle Vision. With these book reviews, this is kind of a modern day Chautauqua. It is. By definition, this is a modern day Chautauqua. But yeah, so I've been doing that. I really don't have a schedule, especially since I just got employed, so I mean my schedule is probably just going to be all over the freaking place. I imagine I'm going to be doing some closed openings. They're going to give me some closed openings because I'm just a single bachelor with no children, and everybody else in society loves pleasure and hedonism, so they have children without actually thinking about their actions. So then they have children, and then they get a job, and then people like me have to work the closed openings because they have kids, and they get all the holidays off, and I don't get any holidays off because I... But anyways, any hooser... Kubrick stare. So, modern day Chautauqua on the Beagle Vision's YouTube channel. I started this modern day Chautauqua reading the book of End of All Evil, which is that was the book review for, not November, that was the book review for December, off the top of my head. So, check out that book review, or actually, don't even watch the book review. Just watch the modern day Chautauqua, because in the Chautauqua, I'm simply playing Sea of Thieves, and I'm reading The End of All Evil, and hopefully the idea is that people tune into the live stream and then type in comments, and I read their comments out loud, and it's just, we talk about it, we discuss the book, right? We discuss the topic of whatever the chapter is on. I think for this modern day Chautauqua, at the time of this recording, I am on like chapter 7, if I remember correctly, and there's 2 more chapters of the Chautauqua left. So the next Chautauqua, I will probably end The End of All Evil, and then we will move on. Actually, I might start doing the Trivium for the next Chautauqua. But before we get to the Trivium, I will do the Most Dangerous Superstition by Larkin Rose. I'm going to ask Larkin Rose for permission to do a modern day Chautauqua with his book, the Most Dangerous Superstition. That'll be I guess part 2 of the Chautauqua, even though it's an ongoing series, and everybody is welcome. So a modern day Chautauqua, it is a gathering of minds here on YouTube where I occasionally go live and we read and discuss novels, books, truth, love, freedom, natural law. All ages are welcome to join the conversation so we can utilize all of the tools, not just 1 or 2. Utilize all of the tools that we have in the modern day to build a strong foundation through unity and education. Really good stuff. I freaking love the modern day Chautauqua. I've been having a blast with it. Before I do my first shift at my new job, I will continue the modern day Chautauqua. So, maybe January 2nd, January 3rd, maybe I'll even do it Saturday at like noon or 2 o'clock. It's all up in the air. But all I will say is, and I do not like shilling like this, but what I will say is, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are not subscribed. Click the. I hate feeling like a basic YouTuber. But click the notification button, because I know how the algorithms work. Click those notifications. That way, when I do go live, you know. That way you can jump in the modern day Chautauqua and join the conversation. I want to see you guys in the chat. Seriously. I know I seem angry and I always get vitriolic on the book reviews, but I want to see you guys in the chat. Come to the chat. And if you're a troll, I'm probably just going to ignore you once I realize that you're a troll. Sorry, not sorry. But anyways, that's the bulk of the notes. I've still been working on updating the Cubbyhole podcast playlist for that's another a really good series that I've been doing on this YouTube channel. Go find the Cubby grindin' without the G, grindin' featuring Cubbyhole podcast, and I've been updating that playlist. Not constantly. I've been working on this book, but I will continue to update that playlist, and I will continue to record the Cubbyhole podcast. I have that brand new mic, and I've barely used it, but like I said, the focus of this channel is the book reviews. I will get to the Cubbyhole podcast, and I will finish that playlist at my earliest convenience. I really want to. It's just I have I got so many irons in the fire. I gotta prioritize. That's it. Basically, I gotta prioritize what I'm doing. So I hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys learned something from this book review, and I really wish I could give you guys some of these beautiful stickers. We got the End Evil podcast. Go to endevil.life. These stickers are freaking amazing. Get yourself some of these stickers. Buy this book. Read books. Oh, that's not a sticker. That's like a show flyer. Buy the book. Get yourself some stickers. Rest in peace to Cambion. The Old Breed. I hope those guys are doing really well. I hopefully, now that I have a job, I also want to get with the local community here, and I really want to do another allegorical movie night with The Matrix. I got all these notes. They're printed. They're ready to go. They're just ready for another allegorical movie night, okay? At any time, I'm ready to do an allegorical movie night, but I need funding, and stuff like that costs money, especially when you rent a venue. Unfortunately, it freaking costs money, and I hate money. I'm so sick of it. But anyways, thank you so much if you made it this far. You are an absolute freaking legend. If you are still here watching the video, leave a comment. Say thank you if you have watched the entire book review. I'm gonna go be a pirate. Stay tuned. Stay gold. Please don't do me a favor. Do yourself a favor and freaking read books. God. Freaking nerds, dude. Nerds in the freaking Fallout TV show. Worst writing I've ever seen in my entire life. Well, seriously. My freaking 3-year-old nephew could write better than that stupid freaking Fallout show. Bethesda's completely gone totally freaking woke. Go woke, go broke, stupid freaking TV show. Have a good day. God, stupid writing. Why do these people have houses? Well, I could write a better story than... Oh my freaking God. Anyway, stay tuned.